I would like to call the chairperson who will host the session, Dr. Shubhra Jamwal, who is an assistant professor at Government College of Education, Jammu Kashmir, India. She is a member in a referee board for an online international interdisciplinary UGC approved research journal. She is also an associate editor for the Fountain Pen Journal of English by Government of Jammu and Kashmir Higher Education Department, and she is also part of the Grand Academic Portal GAP. She has authored one book, World Stonecraft and Her Times, and co-edited three books, Voicing the Voiceless Dalit Literature, Society, Culture and Literature, Volume 1, and War, Pandemic and Humanity, Society, Culture and Literature, Volume 2. So, ma'am, we would like to welcome you, and you can take over the session.
Thank you so much, dear. And hello, Pankaj ma'am, how are you?
Hi, nice to see you.
Same here, same here. So it's such a nice platform that all of us are connected here today, and across the world, across the globe, all of us are here from North India to Southern, and to, of course, Shillong Law College, and then to Maharashtra and Mumbai. It's great to be connected like this. So without further delay, I would just start our session. So we have 4 speakers in this session, and looking at the time constraint, I would just like to wind up by 5. What's the time given to me is 4 to 5. I think I'll go by 12 to 15 minutes by each speaker. So let's start with the first speaker. Miss S. Gayatri is there. She's a PhD scholar. Are you there? Okay, great.
Yes, ma'am, I am here.
So she's a PhD scholar, English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad, India. And her topic is Machine Translation Software, a case study on the select software from English to Tamil. So please go ahead, Gayatri.
Good evening, everyone. It is with great pleasure to be here and present my paper on machine translation software, a case study on select software from English to Tamil. I will share my screen. As you all know, the translation studies in this digital era focuses on machine translation as its formidable achievement. Everyone focuses on achieving a machine translation model to suit the translation as a translation tool. It is to be noted that machine translation facilitates the human beings in all respects. Natural language processing is the field discussed widely all over the world. The process in this translation can be classified in 4 ways, such as human translation, where people do the translation manually; machine-aided human translation, where people do the translations and machine is sought as aid, and in machine translation, the entire translation is automatically performed by the machine itself. Actually, the machine is learning and produce the outcome through these ways. Natural language process, the speech recognition, computational linguistics and computational psycholinguistics as a merge of computational linguistics and psycholinguistics are the results of the movements towards machine translation with the goal to build computational models of natural language for its analysis and generation. It is indeed an intellectual challenge to create the model as same as humans. Some approaches like direct approach, transfer approach, corpus-based approach, and hybrid approaches are observed. These are it is a glance over some select software. There are so many softwares available. I just selected 16 softwares, and these are the softwares. There are some softwares apart from this also. In Lingue, a dictionary with the search engine is found. There are relevant translated documents with Google Images are found. SDL Trado Studio is for freelance translators as well as translation agencies. It is indeed a combination of machine translation with terminology and software localization. Dictionary, thesaurus, and encyclopedia are available in medical, financial, and legal domains in the software, the free dictionary. The specialty of this software is even idioms, acronyms, and codes are also available. Fluency Now is a software with Fluency Flow. It is designed for project management solution. It is built in proofreading software. It is useful in project and document statistics. Prose is the software for professional translators. Dictionaries are also available in this software. Above all, questions, forum, and discussions are also possible in this software. MemoQ is the software where previous translations are reused to improve the quality, check consistency, and to ensure the use of correct terminology. 2015 version of this is the fastest spell checking. MemSource is a cloud-based translation. Editing and terminology management could be possible in this software. In Translators Cafe, questions and advice can be sought from experienced translators. Zenata is the software focuses on translations, not on tools or formats. This suggests best translation matches. As it is a web browser, no installation is needed here. Many translators can interact with real-time communication here. In WordFast Pro, translators can import and export translation memories to improve the translation process. But the size is limited up to 500 units. SmartCut is a cloud-based software where people can work and collaborate in real time. Here, translators can create their own glossaries. Nowadays, multilingual translation memories are also available in this software. It is beneficial for the translators with mixed language pairs. Magic Search is a quicker terminology search. It is a multilingual software with multiple sources like word reference. Here, users can customize the dictionary and references sources. IATE is an international terminology-based database. It ensures the consistency and quality. 23 European official languages are included in this. Another advantage of this is that the users can rate the reliability. Microsoft Language Portal is a term-based software where English definitions are available for around 100 languages. Microsoft Terminology Collection contains standard terminology terms used across Microsoft products, Microsoft Style Guides, and Microsoft Terminology Service. Omega T is designed as an automatic much propagation. Here, multiple translation memories are available simultaneously. Users can process with multiple file projects at the same time. It also has Unicode support and integral spell checker. It has compatibility with other translation memory applications. Website word count calculates repetitions and it helps the translator in saving their time and effort. This study aims at for finding out the improved translation software from English to Tamil translation. It will lead for the improvements of the softwares in future to achieve closest translation. It will facilitate the translators with time and efforts. In order to ease the study, it observes some limitations. There are a host of machine translation softwares available. We have chosen the following softwares which deal with English and Tamil languages for this study: Google Translation, Instant Tamil Translation, EasyTamilTyping.com, Translate.com, LinguaNext, and TamilIndiaTyping.com. For this study, 5 railway station announcements in English are taken randomly in order to ease the study. 6 translation softwares taken for this study are checked with the select English sentences to check the appropriacy and approximation of translation. Then the softwares are compared and the lexical appropriacy, syntactical arrangements, and grammatical concordance are checked and compared among the select softwares. Each translation is analyzed and checked and softwares are compared. For this case study, these are the sentences taken. Suspicious articles are prohibited on station. Lady passengers to avoid windows and doors. Short distance passengers do not enter reservation coach. Veg and non-veg catering facility available. Switch off fans. These are the sentences taken for the study. These are the tools used for the study. These are the translations. So when I put the sentence, suspicious articles are prohibited on station, the blue one is my manual translation. Based on this translation, I have modified it at the end. So the Google translation gave புகையிரத நிலையத்தில் சந்தேகத்துக்கிடமான கட்டுரைகள் தடை செய்யப்பட்டுள்ளன. I will discuss these things in the next slide in my discussion. This is the second sentence, and these are the translations given by the machine, and the blue one is modified by me. So these are my observations from this translation. Of course, the equivalent for articles is provided as கட்டுரைகளின் Google translation, instant Tamil translation, easytamiltyping.com, and Lingavanx and Tamil India typing.com software. Whereas translate.com software gives the proper equivalent பொருட்கள். Articles have two denotations, but according to the in the railway station context, it is the objects or goods. But mission translate it as a கட்டுரைகள், that means essay or composition. So it has to be improved. I will tell you in that concluding part. And lady is transliterated in Tamil instead of providing equivalents in other software than translate.com, which provides the proper equivalent pen. They retain the word lady as lady in machine translation, but there is a word pen in Tamil. The coach is understood by the machine as paichiyalar, bereft of the context meanwhile. Here it says that coach is the person who gives some training, but it is not the meaning. It should give as patti. Patti means that is the proper equivalent, but translate.com gives that equivalent. Equivalents provided by the software may reach the listeners or readers as everyone is aware of which in that sentence, veg or non-veg catering facility available. So they just transliterate this as veg, but we can provide the equivalent like saiva, asaiva. There are terms, and other thing is the syntactic order in phrase structure suffers by providing allada as preceding adjective. So veg, non-veg in English the order non comes.
Okay, Gayatri, can we come to the conclusion directly, please?
Yeah, I am coming. So these are the comparison. Translate.com gives a closer translation. Translation from other softwares needs some improvements. So we have to consider word sense disambiguation and phrase structural formation here. Announcements and such public statements need some word for word translation with clarity. The cohesion should be observed throughout the translation. Syntactic structure in a horizontal way is observed. Thus, a translation should be in a standard and simple language in lucid, readable way as far as announcements used in common places are concerned. The end product should be clearly achieved. Translation of announcement needs some special attentions. Word-to-word translation and translation in long sentences should be avoided. Translation also has to be accurate, but should not sound like a translated content. It is better to retain popular English words such as native names like spiritual names, botanical and zoological names as it is. Building a software or developing an existing software will definitely facilitate the translators in future. So let us march towards a full-fledged software with translation memory, applications, translation checkers, and translation dictation systems. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss S. Gayatri. Wonderful paper, and in fact, this is a new kind of research from my point of view. So, fantabulous job. Machine translation can be of great help to us indeed. And I would, are you doing PhD on the same lines?
No, ma'am, I'm interested in this, but my area is different, ma'am.
Okay. So you are prepared. So well researched. I thought you must be doing PhD somewhere because I wanted to connect these lines like how are you doing and all. So just for my information, what are which are the best translations you think are some?
Ma'am, translate.com is a software. It has some advancement and improvements in these things, especially with regard to Indian languages, ma'am.
Okay.
And for literary works, it is not possible at all. But for this announcement and other things, we can ease the work, and it will definitely facilitate the work, and it will how to say, it will be very much helpful if we develop it in an accurate way. 100% as human beings is not possible, but we can at least 90% if it does, people can check it. Mere checking work is enough. The labor, human labor may be reduced. And
Yes, very true. That's what these things are helping us nowadays. So great presentation. I don't find any questions in the chat box also. Yes. So let's move ahead. So stay with us for further presentations. Next we have Miss Junter Lawyer, and Miss Junter, are you there?
Hi, yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're there. So you can introduce yourself and your topic also.
Okay. Sure. Hi, good evening or good afternoon to everyone. Respected overseer person, ma'am, organizing committee of this international conference, and house presence. Myself, Miss Junta Loya, PhD scholar, Department of Political Science, Rajiv Gandhi University, Itanagar, Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, ma'am. I will sharing my screen.
Yes, please go ahead.
This is my topic. The need for active participation of women in local governance. A case study of Papumpare district of Arunachal Pradesh. This is my PhD topic, and I'm this topic local governance for women participation, and this is the introductory part. This local governance, this is a democratic decentralization institution, and their rules and regulation power function are made by the central and the state government, and these institutions are the instrument and implement for development program in the rural areas. This 73rd Constitution Amendment, this is a very important judgment which brought many rural women participated into the governance politics, and it's 73rd Constitution Amendment. It's provide a new era in democratic decentralization governance process in India. Women by bringing into position of decision making and power in local governance, and this women participation in decision making process is prerequisite for women interest to be integrated into the governance, and this women participation in this local government is very step towards creating for their opportunities and gender sensitive policies, and this is my objective of the study, to examine the level of women participation in local governments, to examine the comparative study of both men and women participation in local governance, and to examine the effective measure for participation of women in the grassroots politics. And this is the methodology which I have used for this study. The present study is mainly based on the empirical in nature, and that they were collected from both the primary and the secondary sources. The primary data were collected from the present and former women member of Panchayat of the area through field survey and participant observation, and the required data and information were collected with the help of interview schedule through this interview schedule, and the secondary data were collected from the relevant official act, report, record, and publish and unpublished material wherever relevant. And the area of study covers in this entire Papumpare district. I have taken 3 subdivisions. First one is Doimo, Balizan, and Kimin, and the sample size were taken on 60 respondents. 30 respondents were from the present woman member, and 30 respondents were the former woman member of the panchayat. And this is participation of women in local government. This is the particular areas for this participation of women in local governance in Papumpare district. There is the right to political participation of citizens is refers to sit or influence in public office. This political participation can take various forms like voting, election, and including joining a political party, contested in election as a candidate, joining a non-governmental organization, or a participating in a demonstration. This in Arunachal, it's a late entrant into the modern democratic and representative politics. The Panchayat Raj institution were first introduced in Arunachal Pradesh in 1969, and from 1969 to 1992, before the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, 7th time election were held in the Panchayat bodies. And the people of Arunachal Pradesh were the first ever experience. This is the first ever experience for the people of Arunachal Pradesh in the modern political culture. And this prior to the introduction of the modern system of governance and administration, the traditional governing institution of the respective tribe was the only forum for decision making and to regulate the society, which was overall dominated by the male member of the society.
Jumta, your slides are not moving.
Okay, my slides are
the first one only.
Okay, this is the first one only. Okay. Not moving now, ma'am?
Yes. Now it's objectives.
Yeah. Now it's moving, ma'am?
Yes, please carry on.
Okay. And this prior to the introduction of the modern system of governance and administration, the traditional governing institution of the respective tribe was the only forum for decision making in regulated societies, which overall dominated by the male member of the societies. But this after the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992, these 33% reservation seats were given to women. After that, the women of Papumpare district were conscious about their rights and privilege. They were becoming the active member of the political party and the member of the organization in holding of offices. And this modern political system, the women were participating in representing the village and engaged in campaigning and working for the strengthening of the political parties. And they play an important role in the party politics. Besides the participation of women in politics, they also involved in the activities and the decision-making process. And this is the comparative study for both men and women in the local governance for this Papumpare district. After this reservation seats were given to the women in Panchayat Raj institution, it has noticed that women participation in local governments in Arunachal Pradesh has been increased in these few decades. And the women's leaders are motivated and give awareness program to the rural women, and they organize and engage in some developmental activities involving like income generation, welfare activities for the general public, and develop homemaking skill like our this traditional gala, local coats and local ornaments and the different design. And till now, after the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, 4 times election were held in the local bodies, but among these 4 election, I have took these 2 election. This passed after the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. This is 2003. This was the past Panchayat election of the local bodies. This is the figure. This is the percentage of the data I have collected from the Panchayat office. And the first one is Gram Panchayat member. This is the total member in past 2003 election. The total member were the 827. Among these, 291 were the women and 556 were the men. And the percentage of the women is 35.18, and the percentage of the male were 64.81. And Ansal Samiti member, the total member were 211, and among that 70 women and 141 male, and 33.17% were the women and 66.82% were the men. And again, this is the highest body of the Panchayat, Jila Parishad member. The total member were 18, and among the 6 were the women and 12 were the men, and 33.33% were the women member and 66.66 were the men member. This is the data from the first Panchayat election. And this is again I collected an alternative. First were held in 2003, second were held in 2008, and this is the third. So in this is the third election as per the 2013. The percentage of the total member of this Papum Pare district. The total member of Gram Panchayat member were 338. Among this, 130 were the women and 208 were the men. And the total percentage of women were 38.46 and the men were 61.53. And answer committee member, there were total member were 76, and among them 25 were the women and 51 were the men, and 32.89% were the women and 67.10 were the men. And again, Jila Parishad member, the total number were 12, 5 were women and 7 were the men, and the total percentage of women were 71.66, and the total percentage of the men were the 53.33. And this is the need to enhance active participation of women. After this election, I observed in comparative to the men, the women participation were less. The women were only participated for the reservation quota, and they were usually not participated in the general quota and the open quota. And this is the need to enhance the active participation of women in the local governments. The need to enhance more women participation in local government, it is required some tools to adopt and try to make local government more popular response to women and gender concern, and to help enhance more women participation in local government. This the first category is that the women leader must be focused on the development of capacity willing to aspire to attend and to perform in local good governance office, and women group must be engaged in the local government. And the second category is to develop and encourage the stakeholder institutions such as the district administration, training program institution and agency, which should be providing service and implementing developmental activities and provide appropriate support for women leaders to consider targeting in the positive way. And this women participation in local governments politics help advance into gender equality, and it also affect the policy making which get considered in the type of solution that are proposed. And this is very important, the women participation in local governments, assembly and the parliament. There are numerous issues in women which need to be solved in the policy making process, and they need to represent.
Can you please wind up now?
Okay. And this is the some suggestion, effective participation of suggestion. This woman representation must be self-confident, ability and capacity, and demonstrate to assume to take up their responsibilities for own work without depend on husband and the male member of the family. And the large number of women representatives suffer from the sinus nature, fear of speaking public platform and meeting, lack of confidence. So it's need to multi-pronged strategy to be pursued to conduct awareness program for rural women. And the education is the very much important. The government should give importance to the education for the rural women, and the educated women should be give awareness and encourage the supervise to the rural women's overall development and political activities. And this is central and state governments should provide some financial and infrastructure assistance to the recognized NGOs and some successful women organization group to take up the responsibilities to give awareness program and encourage to the rural women. And this is my concluding part. This paper, I try to analyze. Trying to analyze the participation of women in local governments and how women need to participate in grassroots politics, and the level of political participation and comparative studies of men, both men and women in local governments, and what should be the effective measure for women participation in the local politics, grassroots politics. And the finding of this study that revealed that participation of women in local government is comparatively less than that of the men. And it also reveals that many women responded they are not participated openly in the general quota and this panchayat election, but they are participate only for the reservation seat. And many women responded that also reveals that they are facing lots of challenges for participation in the local government and local politics due to like in household activities to taking care of the house family. There are lots of issues and challenges. This is reveals from the respondents, and thanking you.
Okay.
This is my paper.
All right. So you are working on this topic only, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
So have you taken some other regions also of Arunachal Pradesh, or it's just you're focusing on some particular district?
Ma'am, actually, my study areas is comparative in both districts, whether one West Siang and this Papumpare district of Anasapa district comparative study in which district are more participating in this women participation in the local government. But in this paper, I take only one district. But my research is comparative studies in both district and local governments.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It would be much better if we do a comparative studies.
Yeah. Ma'am, actually, my PhD topic is on women participation in local governance in both the district, West Siang and Papumpare district of Arunachal Pradesh. But in this paper, I took only focus on one district.
Great. So, very good, well-researched paper I can find. And like, what reasons can be? What other reasons can be there? Can you think of some other reasons also besides education?
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, what I find and observe in the in this my studies area, there are lots of problem issues and challenges. Just the respondents revealed that not only on education we are facing lots of problem like in household activities we could not actively participate due to the busy in household activities, and some women responded to say that some of the family members and their husband are not fully cooperative with their participation in politics, and some respondent they also reveals that we could not actually we are facing lots of problem in the families, but we could not reveal openly against our family and society. There are actually lots of problem for this women participation, and actually I focus on the issues and challenges also what they are really facing board participation, and what I find that ma'am actually this education this is a very important problem this focus because so many especially in the rural areas their literacy rate women they only educated up to class 5 and class 10 class 8, and they're saying that we are very shy in nature, we could not directly visit to office and find out our development activities. This is all about the due to the literacy, due to the illiteracy, then we are feeling very shy, and we could not directly ask to visit and visit to office and direct ask to our development activities. And some of the women respondents are also saying that we are women, that's why some of the officers are fully not cooperating with us.
Very sad, and let's hope situation with the passage of time increases and things move.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. You're doing a great research. Keep it up. Well researched paper. And let's move on to the next presenter, Ritu Raj Basu Matre, MPhil Research Scholar, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Guwahati campus. And impacts of globalization on literature and cultures of Assam. So great. We are going to listen to the literature and culture of Assam now. Yes, please, Rituraj.
Yeah, ma'am. So, my name is Rituraj Bosumotari, and I am an MPhil research scholar at Tata Institute of Social Science at Guwahati. So, if we speak about globalization, that means at present the process of globalization has impacted the literatures and cultures of the world in many ways, be it in Assam or be it in India or any parts of the world. So Assamese culture is the result of various religious groups' assimilation and their common cultural elements. The process of globalization has also impacted on the religious aspect of the Assamese culture and literature. There were various religious folklores and rituals of the Assamese culture and literature in the early periods. But those religious folklores and rituals have been reformed with the help of modern education and as a result of globalization. Globalization generally means the global civilization or the advancement of the globe, which is because of the advancement in the field of science and technology in this age of the 21st century. And Assam is a land having a very rich cultural identity of its own. So if we ask the young generation today about the meaning of Assam, they will not be able to say it because they have been influenced by the other cultures of the world. They don't know what is the meaning of the name of their state. So Assam generally means unequal. It's derived from the Sanskrit word Osom. At present, in official purpose, the name Osom has been used instead of Assam. And Osom means unequal because some parts of Assam is hilly area, some parts of Assam is plain area, and some parts of Assam is a very low-lying area. Because of that, it got its name as Assam. And in Assam, there are various groups, just like Boro, Raba, Garo, Assamese, and so on. And I belong to Boro community. And what is the meaning of Boro? If we ask the present generation, youngsters of the Bodo society, they will not be able to answer it. Boro generally means great or big. In Assamese, it's known as Dangor, which means great or big. So, but the present generation of the Bodos, they will not be able to answer if I ask them. And the Assamese culture has been shaped as a result of cultural assimilation of various ethnic and cultural groups spanning over a period of 2,000 years. Its ethno-cultural system and subsystem have their own distinct identity, which are reflected in the form of language, literature, festivals, and so on. But due to the impact of globalization, proliferation of media, and improved communication process, cultures are rapidly being influenced by other popular cultures, ultimately resulting in dilution of uniqueness of the same. And so, the process of globalization, it has affected more in case of Assam. And it has affected especially the vulnerable groups or the indigenous population of Assam, just like the tribal people like Boro, Raba, Garos, and so on. If we compare our Boro society with other societies from mainland India, just like there are 25 crores Bengali-speaking people in mainland India, but there are just 25 lakhs Bodo population, and they have been rapidly influenced. Globalization has caused more damage to the present status of the Bodo people. Globalization cannot affect the Bengali or the Hindi-speaking people because they are so large in number that they are not going to lose their cultures because of the globalization process. But who will lose their cultures as a result of globalization is the indigenous people. There are about 370 million indigenous people spread in different parts of the world, just like the Red Indian people of America. Earlier, America was a land of the Red Indian, but today the number of Red Indians living in America is nearly or equal to 0. So same thing is going to happen to the other tribal groups of Northeast India and different parts of the world. If we don't try to protect, preserve, and promote the rich heritage of our nation's composite culture, if we don't try to protect, preserve, and promote our valuable cultures which we have inherited from our forefathers. So the objective is, first, the researcher would like to know about the impacts of globalization in Assamese literature and to find out the ways to safeguard the Assamese culture and literature. So Assam is culturally rich and vibrant. It has its traditional literature and culture. Assamese culture is the mixture of various tribal and non-tribal culture. The greater Assamese culture has been composed of the reciprocal relation between the Aryan language group of people as well as the Austro-Asiatic, Tibeto-Burman language group of India. The Austro-Asiatic groups of people are the first inhabitants of the present and Northeast India, which includes Khasis and Jaintias. Next to them, the second group to settle in Northeast India is the Tibeto-Burman, who have migrated mainly from present-day Tibet, which is a part of China, and Burma. Now it's known as Myanmar, present-day Myanmar. So the Tibeto-Burman groups of people are like the Boros, Rabas, and Misings, who are living in Assam at present. In recent times, Assamese culture has been changed in its different aspects. As culture is dynamic, therefore changes in culture is compulsory. We know that culture is a dynamic and an ever-changing process. We cannot stop the cultural sense. It goes on changing and changing and changing. But because of globalization, we have seen that some cultures are being changed very rapidly. In the next 70 years, almost all the indigenous people are going to lose their cultures. Just like the missing people of Assam, the present generation of missing, they are not able to speak their own mother tongue. Rather, they communicate in other languages. So globalization has its impacts in different fields, be it in education, economic, social, cultural, language, literature, and so on. As a result of globalization, today we have seen that some of the youngsters in our society, they use code mixing and code switching while speaking their own mother tongue. Sometimes they mix up Bodo, English, and Hindi words. It has been seen in songs also, music and songs. There are modern songs sung by great singers like Zubin Garg, who uses mixers of Bodo and English and Hindi language. They are not able to sing pure Bodo song, just like the folk songs which our forefathers used to sing in the earlier periods. The impact of globalization on Assamese culture can be seen in its different aspects like education, religion, political power, urbanization, as well as industrialization. So the political system of the Bodos, it was ruled by village headmen in traditional Bodo society. But today we are following the democratic pattern. That means we choose our leaders through democratic elections. But earlier in tradition, we have our own king, and the king used to appoint village headmen. But today, we don't follow such types of our traditional system. We have been following the modern democratic system, which is a result of globalization, which have migrated mainly from the West. It was a Western model of political system.
Okay, great. Rituraj, can you please come to the conclusion?
Yeah. So globalization, it has impacted the people of Assam in many different ways, and the impact of globalization is multifaceted. Globalization is not only it's a multidisciplinary topic. It's not only a political topic, but in economics you find it, in international relations you find it, in social science you find it. So globalization has affected the traditions and cultures of Assam in many ways. As a result, the traditional lifestyle of Assam is changing very, very quickly. But it is very complicated to make sure whether it is changing for better or worse. But lastly, I would like to say that globalization has done both good and bad for us. Because of globalization, we have learned some good things also. Just like in Bodo society, there was a practice of witch hunting and moral policing. But today, it's a result of globalization, witch hunting has been reduced to some considerable extent. And earlier, what happens if there is any disputes? The trial used to be always held in some kinds of kangaroo courts, just like village councils and village sponsors. But today they have learned to file an FIR, to go to police station, to go to the honorable court of law. So in this way, we can say that it has done both good and bad to the indigenous people of Assam. And I hope that let globalization be used for the well-being of the people. Forget about its negative impacts. Let it be used for the welfare of the people and the society. Today, in this age of the 21st century, we cannot escape from the globalization process. We have to mix up with it. But at the same time, it's our duty to protect, promote, and preserve our language, culture, and identity as well. So with these few words, I would like to conclude here. So thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rituraj. I truly agree with you when you said that, this globalization has brought both the factors, positive as well as the negative. And yes, we need to preserve our culture, which is very important. And as you said, like talking about Assam, you said that indigenous people are losing their habits and the tradition. Actually, we need to preserve all these things. And well-researched paper, very good. Congratulations. Do we have any questions from Rituraj? No, I think it was quite self-explanatory, so we don't have questions. Thank you and congratulations to you. So moving ahead, we have our final presenter, Miss M. Evangeline Nightingale, Assistant Professor of English, Srimati Dev Nanala Vaishnav College for Women, Crompat. I don't know where is the Crompat, so probably Angelina will tell us.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Good evening, ma'am. Is my voice audible? Is it very clear?
Not very clear, but yes, audible.
Is it audible now?
Yes, good.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. I think I'm the last presenter. And I am Evangeline Nightingale. And I'm working as an assistant professor in the Department of English in SDNB Vaishnav College for Women, Krompet, Chennai. So it is in Chennai. And the title of my paper is a critical study of the application of Antonio Gramsci's theory as a multidisciplinary approach towards religious hegemony in the Indian social setting. So that's the title of my paper. I'll share my screen now.
Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I am here.
Please take your time.
Yes. 1 minute. I'm a little nervous, so.
No issues. Please take your time. We understand.
Yes.
All of us are here. Yeah. Yes. We can.
Is it? Yes. Is it visible? Yes. Okay. So that's the title of my paper: a critical study of the application of Antonio Gramsci's theory as a multidisciplinary approach towards religious hegemony in the Indian social setting. So before I could present my paper, I would like to screen a small video clip of a comedy which is very much relevant to my paper and the things which I'm going to speak about for the next few minutes. And so the video clip, it is in Tamil, and it runs for about only 1 minute. And though it is in Tamil language, it'll be understandable. And before that, yeah. So I will give you a hint or a snippet of what the video is about. It is like there is this man, and he takes a group of people to a mountainous region or a hilly area where he convinces the people and telling them that he will be able to show God in another few minutes, and he makes money out of it. And what happens afterwards? So that's the content of the video. So is my voice clear? Is my voice clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. I will explain, I will translate, since it is in Tamil, I will translate the rest of the content once the video is over. Okay, so let me play the video for you all. Is it audible? The video, is it audible?
No.
No, ma'am.
No.
Okay.
We could not hear it.
Yes, 1 minute. Sir. I think now it will be. Yes.
கடவுளை காட்டலன்னா வாங்கின 100 ரூபாவை 200 ரூபாய் திருப்பி தரேன்னு சொல்லியிருக்கேன்.
நீ மட்டும் கடவுளை காட்டல 200 அல்பம் கடவுளை காட்டலனா தலைக்கு 2000 ரூபாய் தரையா 2000 ரூபாய் எல்லாரும் அங்கேயே பார் கடவுள் உள்ளார பார் அப்பா வந்துட்டியா ஐயா வந்துட்டியா சொன்ன மாதிரியே வந்துட்டியப்பா இவங்க முன்னால என் மானத்தை காப்பாத்திட்டியப்பா கடவுளே எங்கடா எனக்கு ஒண்ணுமே தெரியலடா அங்க மாதிரியா எவ்வளவு பிரகாசமா நிக்கிறாருன்னு ஐயா எங்க தெரியுறாரு தெரியல உனக்கு தெரியலையே சத்தியமா தெரியல சத்தியமா தெரியலையே பாவம் பண்ணிட்டடா பாவம் பண்ணிட்ட பாவி பயலே எவன் கொண்டாட்டி பத்தினியோ அவன் எனக்கு தாண்டா கடவுள் கண்டிப்பா தெரிவாரு அங்க மாறா திரிக்கிறாரா என்னையா நீ காரத்தனமா வளர்ற என்னையா தெரியுது அறிவு கட்டவனே 100 ரூபாய்க்கா இத்தனை பேர் மத்தியில் ஆத்துக்காரி விட்டு கொடுக்க முடியுமா விட்டா நாளைக்கு இவனே ஆத்துக்காரி கையை பிடிச்சிருவான் ஆமா கடவுளே
Yes, so that's the video. So actually this video clip, it is actually taken from, 1 minute, I will go to my screen. Yes. Okay. Yeah, so this video clip is actually taken from a Tamil movie called Kakai Siraginile, which means on a crow's feather. So that's the meaning for that title of that movie. And the actor here, his name is Vadivelu, and he is one of the most famous comedians in Tamil film industry. Because his acting skills and his body language will make anybody go crazy, and we will never be disappointed with his jokes and his comedies. And so let me get into the content of the video now. Here we have seen a man taking a group of people to a mountainous region, and where he convinces them, saying that he will be able to show God in few minutes. And the people over there, they are also very 1 minute. Yes. So the people over there, they are so very perplexed, and they are very confused, because nobody has ever seen God in their life, and no one knows how God is going to look like. So they are all so very amazed and in anticipation of having a darshan from God. And while this is happening, while they're waiting to have the darshan of God, what happens is Vadivelu here, the actor in the video, he acts like as if he has seen God. And he immediately reacts and he greets God, and the crowd over there, they have gone crazy, because it looks like God has appeared only to the eyes of Vadivelu and not to anybody else, and not to the crowd who have gathered over there. And so then later on, what happens is he tells them that the people over there, they begin to question him, and they pester him as to where God is. They ask him where God is. And here comes the funny part, and they say that Vadivelu, he says that whoever's wife is chaste and pure, God appears only to those kind of people. So this is what he says. So look at the way he has put his statement. So then this is actually this video is watched for fun and for laughter, but it has lot of social message to be delivered and to be conveyed to the society. And I have chosen this video particularly in order to showcase and to display the religious atrocities that are happening in the society in the name of God. Right? And while watching the video, I was able to point out 3 important things, and they are here we go. Yes. The next slide. Are you able to see my screen now? Yes. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. So as I told you, my paper, it focuses on religious hegemony, because it's a critical study of Antonio Gramsci's theory as a multidisciplinary approach towards religious hegemony in the Indian social setting. So here the first point is the epistemology of God and the ontology of. I have only one slide here. So the first one is the epistemology of God and the ontology of God. These two things are really an incomprehensible matter to be discussed. And here in the video, while we were watching the video, and there Vadivelu, the actor, he takes a group of people. He takes a group of villagers to a hilly area, telling them that he will be able to show God to them, and thereby so that he can make money out of it. And while they are going, the people are so very confused and they are perplexed. And why is that happening? Is because nobody has encountered God in their life. No one has seen God in their life. So that is the reason they are so very perplexed. And but people still believe in the existence of God, right? And but the question is, do we what evidence do we have to support any of these ideas? So that's my question. And throughout history, humans have thought about supernatural elements, and they have talked about supernatural things and miracles happening in the society and all around and things like that. And there is also a great deal of evidence of humans attempting to provide support for the beliefs, but actually there is no authentic evidence or proof to believe the belief people have about religion and God. Yes, so that's the first point here. And so then the second point is Italian philosopher Antonio Gramsci. He states that the capitalist society or the ruling class use cultural hegemony in order to keep the society under its control by representing them, that is the cultural hegemony, as right and normal. So here, in order to understand this point, first we have to talk about culture. So what does culture mean? So what is culture? It is a system of values, our ideas, our beliefs, and our perspectives, our customs and traditions, and a view of the world. So it is a repository of everything put together. So that is culture. And hegemony means power. So when this culture becomes hegemonic, what happens is it becomes the common sense values of the majority of the people, right? So then what happens is Antonio Gramsci, he also goes on to describe how the influential notions of hegemony, this one and the manufacture of consent. So here on the second point, you can see the manufacture of consent. So this manufacture of consent is very, very, very important. Why? Because it happens, this manufacture of consent, it happens without the knowledge of the people, that is without the knowledge of the concerned individual. And so in order to explain this particular point, again, Gramsci, he says that people, especially this religious hegemonic class, they are employing religion to manipulate people with their own ideologies, right? So with their own ideologies, they manipulate people. And with time, what happens is these ideologies become universally accepted norms of the society. Okay, so that's the second point here. So here, even in the video clip, you must have seen how the villagers are persuaded to believe in the existence of God. But though they very well know that getting a darshan of God is highly an impossible one, but still they are made to believe. They are coerced to believe in the existence of God. Right? And this belief, actually, it gives a space for the manufacturing of the consent. So the particular belief that people have when they are made to believe. So that gives space and that gives place for the manufacturing of the consent. And to substantiate this point further, I would like to bring one more example. I come from an Orthodox Christian family. And in Christianity, there is this law, and that law is that people 1/10 of our salary. Okay, so it should be given to the church, right? And anyone in their senses will not give their money just like that, just because the church is asking us to, give. So we wouldn't give that because it is our hard-earned money. So we will not be able to give it to the church just because the church is asking and just because the religious leaders are asking us to give. But and the religious institution cannot force us also. So people cannot be forced by the religious institutions to pay their tithe. Actually, the 1/10 of our salary, that is called tithe. They cannot force us also. But people can be convinced if asked for God, right? So that's the point I am trying to make here. So what happens is, so when things like that happens, people are getting convinced because they are giving it for God. And when they say it is for God, they themselves will volunteer to. I'm very sorry because I'm getting a call. Very sorry. Yes, I cut the call. Is my voice audible now?
Yes, yes. I think we can come to the conclusion, everyone, because of the paucity of the time.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, just 2 minutes. Yeah. So finally, I'll just get on with the installation of fear. So here I told you that in the name of God, how people and the religious leaders and religious institutions are employing religion in order to make money. So that is the reason they are using religion as a hegemonic process. So that is point number 2. And finally, we have the installation of fear factor. So the people do not understand. The point is that people do not understand why these religious dogmas and religious practices and the rules and regulations that are there in religion came into existence. So religion actually came into existence only to keep a check on humans behaviors and to keep the society in order and in control. But many do not believe this, and they fail to understand this factor, and they go about fooling people in the name of religion. So to conclude, I would say that this religion that we are talking about, human beings are actually prone to make mistakes. We are all human beings, and they are prone to make mistakes. Mm, and we have been given with conscience as well. So I would say that religion is only a supporting factor, and it is only a supporting system that people have to use their reason and their intelligence in order to escape from the traps set by the religious institutions in the name of God. So that's how I would conclude.
Very nice. Very different and very thoughtful, thought-provoking paper.
Yeah, but I was not able to complete it because of the
No, got the idea. I understand because of the scarcity of the time, we could not give you much time.
Yes,
but
that's okay.
Very rightly, I mean, you have put in everything in order and you convinced us on your points, and they are quite valid also.
Yes.
Wonderful presentation, and congratulations to you.
Thank
do we
you.
have any questions from her? So nothing is there in the chat box. So I will just wind up this session.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, ma'am. We thank you so much for your presence. And the same goes to all the respected presenters for sharing their research and then their work. So we thank you so much for that.